Good afternoon to all my viewers. So today I'll be answering one of the most difficult questions from the Bible. It's the question on whether God knows who's going to go to heaven and who's going to go to hell. As I'm recording this video, does God already know whether I'm going to heaven or hell? As you are watching my video, does God already know whether you are going to heaven or hell? So speaking of those going to heaven, the Bible talks about the book of life. I'll be reading a verse about the book of life during this video. The book of life is the book where names of those going to heaven are written. That's the book of life. And when were these names written in the book of life? Revelation 13 verse 8 reads as follows: all the inhabitants of the earth will worship it, all whose names were not written from the foundation of the earth in the book of life, which belongs to the Lamb who was slain. So names were written in the book of life at the foundation of the earth. Meaning when the earth was being created, that's when the names of those going to heaven were written in the book of life. Meaning if your name was not written in that book, you are not going to heaven. Meaning if your name was written in that book, you will go to heaven. This is the book where names were written, even way before we were born, when the earth was being created. Names of those going to heaven were already written. Okay, so let's move on to Hebrews 4 verse 18. That reads as follows: nothing in all creation is hidden from God's sight. Everything is uncovered and laid before the eyes of Him to whom we must give account. Meaning God knows everything, nothing is hidden from Him. Past, present, and future, nothing is hidden. That's Hebrews 4 verse 18. Nothing is hidden from Him. Then we are moving to Psalms 131 verse 1 to 4. That says, you have searched me, Lord, and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from far. You discern my going and out and my laying down. You are familiar with all my ways. Before a word is on my tongue, you, Lord, knows it completely. Meaning God, when you want to sit, God already knows you want to sit and you're going to sit. When you want to stand up, God already knows what you want to stand up and you're going to stand up. So before you even think about something, God already knows what you're going to think and what you're going to do. He already knows it. Before you say a word, before a word is on my tongue, you, Lord, knows it completely. Even before I speak, what I'm going to say 5 minutes from now, God already knows it. He knows you completely. So since He knows you completely, it basically means He knows your past. He knew you before you were born. He knows your present. He knows your future. Since He knows your future, since He knows you completely, He knows whether our name was written in the book of life or not on Judgment Day. He already knows. As I'm sitting now, names were written by God. So He knows whether He wrote my name there or not. Since He knows me completely, He has given me free will. But since He knows my thoughts, He knows what I want to say. He knows when I want to sit down. He knows when I want to stand up. He knows all my ways. In as much as He has given me free will, it basically means He still knows what I'm going to choose. He has given me freedom of choice, but He still knows what I'm going to choose. Let's move on to Luke 10 verse 20. That read says, nevertheless, do not rejoice that the Spirit submit to you, but rejoice that your names are written in the heaven. Names are written in heaven, meaning heaven, that's where the book of life is. You should be happy if your name is written in that book, because it means you will go to heaven. Meaning if your name is not written, you will not go to heaven. And names were written on during the foundation of the earth. So let's move on to Matthew 24 verse 13. That reads as follows: but about that day or hour, no one knows, not even the angels in heaven or the Son, but only the Father. Meaning the angels in heaven don't know the day God is going to come. Son is maybe Jesus. Jesus also maybe doesn't know the day He's going to come. It's only God the Father who knows. Since God the Father knows the day He's going to come, His second coming, It means God knows what will transpire on Judgment Day. God knows who is going to be sent to heaven and who is going to be sent to hell on Judgment Day. Meaning, as I'm standing now, as I'm sitting now, God already knows whether I'm one of the people that He will send to heaven on Judgment Day, or whether I'm one of the people He will send to hell on Judgment Day. That knowledge He has it, since He knows me completely, since He knows the day is going to come. Then we are moving on to Matthew 26, verse 34, where Jesus tells Peter to say, "Truly I tell you," Jesus answered, "this very night, before the rooster crows, you will disown me 3 times." This was Jesus telling Peter about what Peter was going to do in few days to come, in the future. He told, before the rooster crows, you will deny me 3 times. Peter disagreed with him. But when that time came, it played out exactly as the way Jesus said it. Peter ended up denying Jesus 3 times, which he was told way before. For meaning, Jesus could see what Peter was going to do in the future. For Peter to say, "No, me, I'm not going to deny you," it means he had freedom of choice. He was already prepared to say, "I'm not going to deny him, regardless of the situation I find myself in." So if Jesus was able to see Peter denying him in the future, it means Jesus already know whether Peter's name is written in the book of life or not. And Jesus can already see where Peter will end, whether he ends in hell or heaven on Judgment Day. Already knows. He knows him completely. And then we are moving on to Corinthians, 1 Corinthians 13, verse 12. That reads as follows: "Now we see things imperfectly, like puzzling reflections in a mirror. But then we will see everything with perfect clarity. All that I know now is partial and incomplete, but then I will know everything completely, just as God now knows me completely." God now knows me completely. As I'm sitting here, God knows everything about me, including the future, including what will happen to me on Judgment Day, including whether my name is written in the book of life or not, and names were written in the beginning of creation. So if my name was written that day, God knows now to say this guy is going to heaven or hell. Let's move on. Matthew 26, verse 21. "And while they were eating, he said, 'Truly I tell you, one of you will betray me.'" This was Jesus telling disciples to say, "One of you will betray me." Jesus was referring to Judas. Jesus was not guessing. He knew who he was referring to. So Jesus already knew, like, in future, Peter is going to betray, Judas is going to betray me. It means Jesus already knew that Judas was going to commit suicide, and Jesus already knew whether Judas is going to heaven or hell. So when Judas and Jesus were working together, with Judas being a disciple of Jesus, if Judas is going to hell, Jesus already knew, like, this guy is walking around with me, he's a treasurer, we are disciples. Jesus already knew Judas Iscariot was wasting his time by being with him, because he was still going to end up in hell. He already knew. But he would not tell him to say, "Go away, you're wasting your time by being with me." But Jesus already knew. And we are moving on to one of my favorite verses in the Bible, Jeremiah 1, verse 5, that reads as follows: "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nation." Meaning, this is God telling Jeremiah, meaning even before his mother conceived him, before he was formed in the womb, before he was even born, God already chose him a prophet, appointed him as a prophet to the nation. Meaning there was no way his mother was going to abort him. There is no way his conception was going to end up in a miscarriage. God chose him even before he was conceived. So if God chose him before he was conceived, meaning God, since name was written in the beginning of creation, meaning God already knows whether he wrote his name in the book of life or not. And God already knows. I think Jeremiah is going to heaven or hell. He knows it already. That's why I was able to choose him even before he was born. So, what about the thief on the cross? Lot's wife, Onan, Judas, and Mary Magdalene. Thief on the cross. The guy was a thief throughout his life. So when he was a thief, did God know that this guy is going to give his life to Jesus Christ in the last minute? Yes, God already knew. Since he knows all of us completely, he knew like this guy, in as much as he's a thief, in as much as he'll be sentenced to death for theft, he is going to give his life to Jesus Christ on the last day. That's why he had the opportunity, one of the best opportunity, the biggest opportunity that a human being has ever been given, of meeting Jesus on the cross in his last minute. Then he gave his life to Jesus. God already knew. So when he gave his life to Jesus Christ, people he stole from were not there. When he says, remember me in your kingdom, and then Jesus responded by saying, I assure you today you'll be with me in paradise. People he stole from were not there. Did not hear the conversation between the thief and Jesus. And on judgment day, they'll be surprised when they see the guy going to heaven. The question will be, this guy was sentenced to death for stealing from us. How come today he's going to heaven? He is going to heaven because he gave his life to Jesus in his last minute when he was on the cross. When you, the people he stole from, were not there. And because his name was already written in the book of life at the beginning of creation, at the foundation of the earth. When he was going around stealing from you, his name was already written in the book of life. Meaning if Judas is going to hell, when he was going around preaching with Jesus as the disciple, Jesus already knew like this guy's name is not written in the book of life. He's wasting his time. Okay, so the thief on the cross, Lot's wife, when Lot's wife was running from Sodom and Gomorrah with her two daughters and her husband Lot, did God already know that she was wasting her time? Yes, God already knew. God knew her completely. So God already knew that this one is not going to make it. Onan is the man who had a brother called Er, and the brother died, and then he was told to go and sleep with a late brother's wife so he can get her pregnant. So when he was sleeping with her, before he ejaculated, he pulled out and released on the floor. Then God killed him on the spot. His name is Onan. So did God already know that this guy is going to disobey me? I'm going to kill him on the spot. Yes, he already knew. Mary Magdalene, she lived a sinful life before she became a disciple. God already knew she was going to become a disciple. So God already knows whether her name is written in the book of life or not. So in closing, God knows everything. He has given us free will, but he still knows what we are going to choose. That's why he knows our thoughts even before we think. He already knows what we are going to choose. So, in conclusion, as I'm sitting now and as you are watching my video now, God knows our ending. God knows whether our names are written in the book of life or not. And if our names are not written in the book of life, we are not going to go to heaven. So on Judgment Day, God knows whether He's going to send me to the right side, which is heaven, or He's going to send me to the left side, which is hell. In as much as some people are living sinful lives, like the thief on the cross, if God knows your name is written in the book of life, if God knows you are going to go to heaven, it means you will go to heaven. In as much as you are walking with Jesus Christ, like Judas Iscariot, in as much as you are going to church, praying every day, if God knows you are going to hell, you'll still go to hell. Judas is a good example. Okay? About the knowledge of God. However, the way I'm putting it sounds as if I'm motivating you to go around throwing your life anyhow. Just because whether if God knows you are going to heaven, whether you're a thief or whether you're a prostitute, you'll still go. Let me read you for you the last verse. He knows whether you're going to heaven or hell because he knew he had this knowledge even before we were born. But you should be very careful. Let me read this verse for you. So, okay, it's Exodus 32, verse 31 to 35. So Moses returned to the Lord and said, "Oh, what a great sin these people have committed. They have made gods of gold for themselves. Yet now, if you would only forgive their sin, but if not, please blot me out of the book that you have written." The Lord replied to Moses, "Whoever has sinned against me, I will blot out of my book." Meaning, God can still remove your name from the book of life. Even if your name was written in the book of life at the beginning of the creation of the earth, God can still remove it. So meaning, even if your name was not written, God can still add it in the book of life. Depending on how you live your life. But that does not change the fact that God knows what you are going to, whether you are going to heaven or whether you are going to hell. He still knows whether you are going to heaven or whether you are going to hell. That's my last words. Thanks very much. Please like, share, and most importantly, subscribe to my channel and share the video with other people. And if you have a question or if you disagree with me, please leave a comment in the comment section. Thank you.